Alright, yeah. My man Prince. So we was talking, and we talking about my man Grandmaster Vic. So I was trying to see what was your first time hearing about Vic. I know you from 40 or you was from that area. First, what area you grew up in?
I'm from 40. From 40 Projects, Queens. Jamaica, South Jamaica, Queens. Representing 10809, 159, you know how I go. I was down the block from where the first time I originally heard Vic spin that was actually before 40 Park. It was in the second square. He lived in a building in the corner. And he used to bring his equipment right in front of like his building on the side and just get the electricity from his crib. You know what I'm saying? So I used to walk back and forth to the square and listen to him play then. But then where it really started resonating with me even more, because that music he was playing was just so dope to me, because there was a lot of classics I didn't know about. I was young. He started spinning that 40 Park. I don't know. I think he moved to 109. I'm not sure. You know, I don't. You know, we wasn't nosy people back then. How people are nosy now. So, you know, yeah, I think he moved, but he started spinning in the park, and that's at that time I started becoming more older of age, and you know, being kids, you know, you want to have sneakers and bikes and all the things kids like, baseballs, basketballs, you know, and you know, when you live in the hood, your parents got to move accordingly to that bread, how that bread coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember we used to just like be on the block, man, and just trying to figure it out day by day, playing ball, sometimes playing baseball, and you would hear music faintly in the background, like you'll hear boom, 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 catch the beat. Good evening, everybody. So glad to hear all the people looking for the people looking for. And you know, and when you're sitting on the curb with your friends, yo, it was like it was something mesmerizing in the air. You know what I'm saying? We just was stressing. We didn't have no money. You know, we'd be spending our little cheap allowances on Heroes. We get the Heroes chopped in 3 pieces where you and your friends share the Heroes. We had the 25-cent wise potato chip bags and pickles that sat on the counter. And, you know, some days you had no money and you trying to figure it out. And when that music came on, it was like you was under a spell. It was sort of like a hypnosis. And you would gravitate to the park. Now, crazy thing is, if you're young, you know, your parents tell you to have your ass upstairs when that light come on, right? Grandmaster Vic costed me at least like 3 ass whippings, 3 or 4 ass whippings, because there was no way in the world that I'm going to leave the park jam at the peak of these routines that him and the Boss Crew did. The flashing back and forth that Vic used to do. It wasn't just about his blends. It was about he was a all-around DJ. Everybody known him for being the infamous Grandmaster Vic that do the blends with the R&B records style with the hip hop beats. That was him. He created that. That's just one aspect of him, though. When it comes to flashing and spinning and going and doing all the tricks and stuff and flashing and going back and forth, he had that too, and was quick with it. Like he was a grandmaster. You see what I'm saying? So being a kid, that's why I say hip hop is a culture, because being a kid, your sneakers is ran down. You know, your parents is trying to make ends meet. That music was a savior. It was like it gave us hope. You know, we always went for a better tomorrow with a park jam, and it was just so dope because we were also learning about our music. You know, from Vic was playing Mary Jane Girls, he was playing Rick James Moonchild. Nobody was playing Rick James Moonchild. Nobody was playing it. And you could rhyme over it. Vic had certain ways he played the break part of the record that it sounded like even back then he was making hip hop songs because it was the invitation that allowed Chili D and Mr. Divine to rhyme on, which was the Boss Crew. You know, Dada Rock and Spank G used to add on. I think they was just like the support system, but they had voices, all of them, all four of them. Chili D and Mr. Divine used to kill it. Dada Rock has come through and kill it again in between inserts of how Vic played. You see what I'm saying? Because the epicenter was the DJ, so Vic could do certain routines. Sometimes he's flashing. Sometimes he's just straight playing records for us to party to, and he just provided something that was like a celebration within the midst of the chaos and the poverty and the bullshit and trying to survive and make it in the hood. He provided all faith of hope, and ain't no better way to do it than through melody. He put, playing Shaka Khan and Patrice Rushen and what's the other dude named Vaughn something, Bounce Rock Skate, Bounce Rock Skate. And it made us feel good. That was street church. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I started seeing myself being an MC, because there wasn't no rhyming all night like everybody's trying to do. Everybody got 90 bars. At that time, it was about the DJ moving the crowd and then the MC coming in and acknowledging the crowd and keeping them motivated for the music. So I remember, I'm Chili D. They always had voices. Mr. Divine. They always had these melodic voices. And when you heard it, it was the same way how people hear preachers in church. Before they start getting hype and yelling, they be like, y'all don't hear me now, church, y'all don't hear me. That's how it was with that. But that was street. And Vic provided that. And at that time, what was crazy, they was stealing electricity from the street light. There wasn't nobody providing that electricity. He was juicing, and I'm talking about, you heard this music for blocks, all powered from somebody being smart enough to connect it to a street pole. So you can't say people in the hood is dumb in order to know how to take electricity without getting their ass shot and zapped up and shit, like to know how to put the wires together to get the juice, to give the people music. Man, how better can you bless the community like that? And it was the music of the unheard, because when hip hop and rap started implementing in with the Park Jam, as far as like Chili D and them started writing more and more longer rhymes, and the MC started to develop more and more as a vital part of the movement of this hip hop thing that's being created. To me, now the responsibility of the MC had to be just as dope as the DJ. So when people started hearing me like saying, like, I heard you rock, you ready? You want to come to the party and get on? No, I'm not ready for that level yet. See, they know what they're gonna say. So then when Dada Rock said, took to sweet 82, when they was saying these things, they was convictional. They was confident. And back then, when you messed up one little time, the crowd was like, get him out of here. Get him out of here. And the Park Jam is almost like the street version of the Live at the Apollo. If you got on that mic, if you wasn't too nice, you're finished. I'm talking about forever. You're not getting on it no more. So I used to always tell people, I ain't ready yet. But those was my icons as far as trying to control that crowd. I seen that power of motivating people, making them feel good in the midst of poverty, and police ain't want they protect and serve us. So this ain't new what we going through now. But I'm just saying, like at that time, all we had was us. All we had was us. Nobody wanted to hear shit was going on in the hood. Yo, we need the street light fixed. Nobody cares. Nothing. The streets was messed up. We used to have abandoned lots, and people used to burn fires in the garbage cans just to keep warm. We had abandoned houses. That shit was real back then. But then when that music came on, it made everything feel like there was a heaven on earth somewhere. Like I'm telling you, that music was mesmerizing. So how that led up to where we at now is like, that's why hip hop is a culture, it's a community, because he was playing the music and giving us hope and making us feel good in the midst of the struggle. And that's what Vic did, you know.
Yeah.
And it was always Grandmaster Vic and the Boss Crew,
Yeah.
right? You always had like support, like great support, other great talent, like Spank G, Dada Rock, Cutmaster JT, DJ DeWitt, Kid Quick. I mean, just
The way.
Rob Mel, they used to be up at ISA. Like, it was just a lot of people that played a part. And charge it to my heart, not the president. If I forgot about anybody, you know, we had the Divine Sounds, Disco Twins, Albino Twins, you know, just a lot of people. Then later on came the Rockaway Twins. Like, you know, it's just, but Grandmaster Vic was that epicenter for me, because when we felt down, man, like, it's not a good feeling when you're a kid. You trying to understand why you can't have candy and chips every day, like, you know, and then, you know, your mom is saying, this is what we going to eat. It wasn't no choice. You know what I'm saying? And these kids don't even know how good they got in these modern times, because back then it was about surviving.
Yeah.
We just was poor.
Prince Paul, I want you to talk about the joint Rising to the Top and what it means to a dude from Southside.
Kenny Burke, Rising to the Top. That became a 40 project, but Southside